Picture's worth 1,000 words, ain't it?
Yo, so I'm making the almond flour tortillas again. I decided to actually get good at it this time, and they're turning out way better. Like, look at that. That's actually like kind of floppy. They don't look as, brown spotty, but I now realize they're probably not really supposed to. They're supposed to be like, there's just a light golden brownness to the surface of this one. And that's probably about as cooked as I want them before they basically hit the point where there's just no malleability to them whatsoever. Because this time I'm trying to just make wraps that I can take to work. Because I'm just getting a little bit tired of the chaffles I keep having. So let's get this one on. So yeah, once again, we just wait for it to sort of like go white around the outside and the whiteness to start creeping into the middle. And pretty much this only takes about 15 seconds or so. And then once that is done, well, once that is fairly close to done, well, either way, I've counted about 15 in my head now, so let's just flip them. And then now we just flip it every 5 seconds. Easy, easy. And what I've got here is a bunch of chicken thigh that I deboned myself, or rather with help, I should say. So it means most of the skin is still on. So for the purpose of being keto friendly, it's much higher in fat than chicken breast would be. And it's dark meat, which I'm really starting to like more and more. The plan is to put half this pack of fajita seasoning in there. And then a jar of salsa. And half of that's going to be my lunch right about now, as I have fajitas. And then the other half is going to be, well, I'm going to take it to work and, I don't know, do something with it. Once again, implementing what I've learned. I've got all these pieces of chicken skin side down. And I'm just going to give the chicken fat some time to like render and get real crispy. Before I then actually add the seasoning, let it cook in that for a bit. And then also add the salsa. I've got an hour before I have to set off to work, so it's plenty of time. Yeah, you take a look at this, you can see that the skin that's on is browning, so we'll sort of get these shifted around. Don't worry about all the stuff burned to the bottom. That's going to mix right back into the sauce once it all goes in. So I'll get this pack of fajita seasoning and put in, I'm going to have to eyeball this, put in about half. And then knowing that the bottoms of these are actually properly toasted, I'm just going to mix it all up. And man, that smells good. So now, once I've got all these turned, I'll let them sit for a while, let them cook through. I would put an onion in here, but I'm already, as we already know, adding kind of a lot of carbs just by adding the seasoning. Now, again, it's a 30-gram packet, and per 100 grams, it's 59 grams of carbs. So if we reduce that, 5.9 times 3 is about 18, and I'm using half of that. So there's 9 grams of carbs just in the seasoning. So I'm not putting in an onion, unfortunately. I would like to, but I can't. There'll be a little more in the salsa that goes in as well, but not a whole lot. And then with this jar of salsa poured in, I can't quite do the quick math on this one, but I guess I'll just flash the number up on the screen. I have to say there must be about 13 grams of carbs total in this jar. And this is going to make multiple portions and feed me over multiple meals. So I don't have to worry too much about the carb count. And again, there's other things I'm going to be adding to the fajitas, the like wraps themselves, that won't contain any carbs and add more fat to the meal and should even it out. But now I just let this cook for a bit. All that stuff that burned on the bottom is going to make what's known as a fond, just the French word for base. And then finally we add a bit of lettuce to the wraps, because again, they do add a bit more structural integrity to the wraps, and lettuce is never an unhealthy option. Add some cheese to this to, again, increase the fat content. What I'm thinking of doing this month is trying to slightly re-increase the carbs in my diet, as I'm just going to come off keto entirely over the course of December, and then be off it until the end of January when I go back on it in February. Originally the plan was supposed to be to do 2 months on, 4 months off, but now it's been, I don't know how many months on, I think I've lost count, and a month and a half off at most. And when I say come off it in December, what I mean is I just won't order any more like specialized ingredients for it. So anyway, let's add a bit of this to the wrap. But yeah, in December, I'll just let my things like my almond flour, oat fiber, wheat gluten, like xanthan gum and stuff run out. And then just go back to having like non-keto food once I can't make the keto substitutes. During that time, I'll have to calorie count very carefully on my other upcoming days, due to the fact that I will be well, yeah, I'll have to calorie count very carefully on those subsequent days, because I know for a fact that for Christmas meal, I'm going to binge. And like everyone else, everyone does it, and I know that whatever weight I put on, I'll be able to lose again. So there we go. It's a keto fajita. Okay, it's kind of a mess because I wrapped it up with one hand, but down the hatch. Not disappointed. Now I also made a double batch of the tortilla mix because today I'm making tortilla chips. I have not done this before. Wish me luck. At least the upside of this though is I don't have to worry so much about like overcooking either side of them, because I actually want these super crispy instead. I just got to make sure not to burn them, I suppose. Alright, these are turning out pretty good. Second batch is ready to go. I was kind of afraid I was going to burn these. I don't know how crunchy they're going to be. I may need to like lower the heat if I really want to spend more time toasting the outside while also, you know, baking the very thin layer inside, but we'll have to see. Yeah, it's still kind of soft, but I imagine maybe with a bit of time sitting, they will actually crisp up a bit. But yeah, I'm going to turn the heat down slightly so that these can have more time on the pan without burning and still cook internally. Oh wait, no. Yep, that's crunching. Alright, I think I got this. One thing you do, by the way, when you're about halfway through rolling it is just, obviously I ain't going to be able to do this with my hand on the camera, is just put a little bit of salt on it once it's about halfway to the size you want. And then roll all the salt back in. And they, you know, with lightly salted tortillas made with almond flour. So, with this plate of tortilla chips, now I make a bigger plate of tortilla chips. And the plan, well, gonna get these spread out a bit. Oh, crap. I might actually be able to put like half of these away to use later. We'll put on a little big splodge of salsa. Not the full jar or anything. I think this is what, gonna be about half of it. So that would mean putting about an extra 7 grams of carbs on this thing probably, along with the about 8 grams of carbs that are in the tortilla chips themselves. So once I add cheese to this, which will be nothing carbs-wise and a few jalapenos, it's going to be like a 15-gram plate of nachos. A very basic plate of nachos. I normally like adding refried beans to these things, but at the moment, that is absolutely out of the question for obvious reasons. Which is a shame. Refried beans, I think, are a real game changer when it comes to making plates of nachos, but this will just have to do. And then put an absolute boatload of freaking cheese on this. Make sure this is spread out so that it'll actually melt, because this is only going in the microwave for like a couple of minutes. So some of the actual chips will like some of the chips will actually crisp up even more, which is also what I want. And then I've only got a few left spare, so I'll probably be using these as like, you know, little makeshift shovels to like dip and eat the middle part before I then pick up the ones on the bottom. Alright, so that's turned a bit, well, let's be honest, it looks like a freaking pizza. But let's just get this out of here. And, dropping stuff. And then grab one of these chips and just make like this. Alright, it's not quite as viscous as I would have liked, but, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, those are wicked crispy now. Yeah, no problem there. So here's another food I can stop missing. As long as I'm, you know, responsible about how I have it. Because this thing, you know, it would amount to about just under a third of my daily allowance of carbs. Although, I was thinking of increasing my daily allowance of carbs to tide me over into the Christmas month where I won't be on keto at all. But considering this is a meal, you know, assuming 3 squares a day, a 30 of carb allowance in a single meal ain't bad, right? But, well.
So there you have it. After 200 days, I'm down about 54 pounds. If the extra weigh-in I did on the Sunday video that none of you watched was anything to go by. And obviously you can see the progress in the photo here. One of the things I notice is how in the old photo, I'm like spreading my feet way out to take a knee because I have no balance. And yet there I am just with my foot out, my knee out right in front of me. Way more like streamlined like position I'm taking to take the photo as well, not just the fact that my body's looking a bit more streamlined. Well, I guess that used to be my favorite Under Armour t-shirt. Now it's too freaking big for me, and I'm like wearing it as pajamas, and that's about the only thing I can wear it as. So even though I stopped the whole day counting thing, I figured I at least had to acknowledge when it was day 200. Or at least I hope this is day 200 and I'm not just being real bad at math today. Otherwise, it's going to be real embarrassing going forward. Either way, once again, for those of you who have been along this whole time, thank you. For those who only subscribed in the last week, as I do get these sudden little surges of subscribers despite not seeing obvious signs of extra views, thank you as well. And I hope you'll just be along for when I finally get my weight down to the 16 stone and 9 pounds mark, aka 233 pounds, aka the point where I finally get back to where I was at one point, and where I stopped calling it regaining ground and actually go back to calling it making actual progress, as opposed to just kind of referring to it as progress once in a while. That is the point where I will consider myself to be truly back on track. Again, as per my channel description, I got hurt running a lot and then regained a ton of weight. At the moment, I am still losing the weight I regained, for those who don't know. But long may this continue. Like, I'm already seeing this photograph compared to the old one and being like, wow, holy crap, people weren't kidding. All right, for real, see you soon.